My Hero Academia Chapter 428 is finally out, and with it, the story picks up exactly where the last chapter left off. And yes, this is my face, and yes, for the next few chapters, we'll be editing the videos a bit differently, for legal reasons. But anyways, as I said, we pick up exactly where the last chapter left off, with the new first year students swarming Bakugo and Todoroki explaining when and where they became interested in them. Some saying it was during the war, and others saying it was from all the way back at the sports festival. So you got the OGs and the bandwagoners. That's a word, right? However, this fawning is quickly put to an end by the class rep, Ida, who explains to his new underclassmen that 1, chasing around people they admire isn't good, and 2, that Bakugo and Shoto still haven't fully recovered from the war, and don't need extra excitement, which ultimately causes all of the girls making a ruckus to apologize. Shinzo, who is delightfully a member of the class now in seeing this, makes a comment to Sero about how he's surprised Bakugo is reacting negatively to all of this attention, as he assumed Bakugo of all people would love it. However, Sero notes that maybe this is just too much attention before Midoriya explains to a jealous Kaminari that in truth, while Bakugo was popular with the boys, girls have always kind of ignored him. So this kind of attention is brand new to him. Oh god, the Bakugo fans are gonna love this! One of the first year boys then approaches Deku and tells him that he was inspired by Deku's fight during the final war, and he wants to be a hero just like him. Yet, in hearing this comment, Deku freezes up, unsure how to respond to this compliment, before the image of Spinner flashes through his mind as he begins to think, this pain. Mineta then interrupts this moment, having an outburst of jealousy towards Bakugo and Todoroki, causing a scene in which we see Ochako looking from her desk at a distance with a very, for a lack of a better word, distant expression. And following the series of interactions, the story cuts over to Aizawa, Ectoplasm, and Present Mic in the teacher's room, where Aizawa explains that he's not letting anyone interview his class. Because while some students would adore and admire the spotlight, Mineta being singled out here, there are also those that don't want to be interviewed about the horrifying historical event they all went through. So he's respecting the latter's wishes. Aizawa strikes again. But speaking of students, it is then we see the entirety of Class 2A out in the world helping heroes like Fat Gum and Best Jeanist. I was almost gonna call him Fat Jeanist and Best Gum. God, what an image. In the reconstruction of a destroyed residential area. As the class is all doing their parts to help out, Bakugo confronts Edgeshot, who is also there, and asks him if he's going to be stuck in his current form forever, as it's revealed that Edgeshot is still in his tiny tread form. That's gotta affect you in more ways than mentally. However, seeing the light in this situation, Edgeshot replies to a quite solemn Bakugo that he shouldn't worry, as he now not only has little tread hands, but regardless of the circumstance, whether he returns to normal or not, he plans to become an even better hero than he was before, which causes Bakugo to crack a smile. Ah, that's our baby explosion boy. Some civilians then arrive on the scene and provide lunch for the heroes, and as they do, they talk with the heroes about how their land was destroyed in the war. But the heroes shouldn't apologize for what they did. In fact, seeing them all fight so hard for justice and against evil inspired them to want to help out others too. A bus then pulls up just beside our heroes, containing the hero Cementos and his class of first years, which initially confuses Aizawa, as first years aren't supposed to be taking part in the outside UA reconstruction. But it's quickly revealed that this is the same class of students who were bothering Bakugo and Todoroki earlier, and they wanted to come out and apologize to them for their actions earlier. The boy who complimented Midoriya is also there, and he proclaims that although they don't have their licenses yet, they also want to help out in the recovery. And in seeing all of this positivity and go-get-em attitude, the civilians laugh about how curious it is to see how the efforts of one can influence other people, as Ochako, with a very ominous, uncharacteristic blank smile, states how she's relieved to see that everyone seems to be getting a bit more optimistic. And while the comment is received with good intentions, both Deku and Froppy notice something seems off with Ochako, and both seem worried for her. But before they confront her, she runs off to the others to get her food, all while still maintaining that blank smile. And following this, the story cuts to later in the night, where a narration reveals that after the war, the students are no longer forced to stay in their dorms anymore, as we see a worried Froppy in the general room talking with a few of her classmates, saying that Ochako told her she's going home for a while and isn't answering any of her messages. We then cut to a flashback all the way back to Ochako's final moments with Toga, where we see the horde of Twice clones vanishing away once again, as in the helicopter we learn the news reporter's camera ran out of battery right as it's explained by Ochako herself. On that day, our conclusion wasn't caught on camera, revealing that Toga's final moments, her last act of sacrificing herself to save Ochako's life, was hidden from the world. And as far as we know, Ochako is the only one aware of how Toga actually died. As the flashback fades out, we see Ochako standing atop the same hill she stood on with Midoriya all the way back in chapter 342, looking out at the now reconstructed city, thinking about how it's good the battle is finally over. It's good things are going back to normal. It's good that people are smiling. Yet, behind all this goodness, as tears begin to slowly well up in her eyes, overwhelming the blank smile she's forcing on herself, Ochako remembers Toga's tears and smile in her final moments. And as she does so, her own tears begin pouring out as she clutches onto her stomach, thinking, that's why I'm suppressing the pain from this wound. Ochako then erupts into tears, and as she does so, Midoriya arrives on the scene covered in One For All energy, shouting out, Uraraka. And that's it for chapter 428. If you liked this video, don't forget to leave a like. For more content like this, subscribe to the Lunchtime crew. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. It's lunchtime.